So trigger warning, my speech does consist of military sexual trauma and sexual assault. Fear is marching next to the enemy, but shooting at a stranger. Fear is a loaded barrel and not knowing who to kill. This is a war between your body and your country. I didn't join the military until I was 30. I wanted to show my sons the example of what my father showed me as a young girl. So I went to Italy for aviation administration, and they saw I had experience and requested to take over that particular program, which I gladly accepted. The misogyny and the hazing started pretty much when I graduated from boot camp. I felt pretty much like a piece of meat in a butcher shop. 1. Strong emotions. When it happens, you will not understand why. You thought this only happened to the pair of vessel legs wobbling its way down the cement, to the girl who looks like confetti drinking her rum. But not you. Not you. According to the New York Times on October 11, 2021, 1 in 4 servicewomen suffer from military sexual trauma. Military sexual trauma, sometimes abbreviated MST, describes sexual assault and sexual harassment while serving in the armed forces. As with any sexual trauma, the results of MST can be catastrophic to the mental and physical health of those abused. However, in the military, voices are often silenced or found that they are not welcome or heard. This program is a tribute to those voices so that they may find a home and be heard. Featuring selections from the oral interviews of Jane Doe, only identified as Darshell, and from Ruth Moore, airing on Inside Edition in depth, and excerpts from the Military Sexual Trauma Fact Sheet, and poems Directives by Olivia Gatwood, and Sharp Program Poem by Edward Wilson. Survivors from our military. There was a coworker, and he was a real genuine friend, and he came over and he joined us to cook one night. The NCIS agents assured me, we've never had this much evidence. They had the pictures of the lock that he maneuvered. They had his fingerprints on my broken zipper. They had his DNA inside my comforter. And they had his DNA inside my rape kit. He has been living inside of his own pulse for months, ripping apart his pheromones, convincing himself that the man in the next cot might just feel like a woman if he closes his eyes and he reaches out his hand. You are the solution, darling, and doesn't that make you feel worse something? After the rape, I reported it to the chaplain, trying to get some help. When the chaplain told me, you need to move on and forget about this. Little did I know, the chaplain was good friends with the person who raped me. 2, difficulties with concentration. This is not a game of tattletale. This is a place where bad decisions are born. The question is how you deal with it. When this happens and you crack, you are not a victim. You are a liability. You are one step behind in the march, and most of all, you are a burden. I went upstairs to my room and I locked the door. So when the door opened, I was really startled. And then I heard the voice of my coworker and I got scared. Right off, he actually tried to put his in my mouth and I just refused to open. I just closed my eyes and shut my mouth really, really tight. It didn't matter to him. You will be discharged early with the salute of a soldier and a stomach like knotted rope. Your uniform is a small dog nipping at your hemline. Your family will not know how to praise you, and you will not try to teach them. Not you, with your knotted bun and your taped down breasts. Three, difficulties with relationships. I felt like I strongly needed to end it. I couldn't go anywhere, and I couldn't do anything. So I attempted to overdose. And I was sent off the island immediately to Bessemer, Maryland. But right before I went to Maryland, I was put into the brig for attempted destruction of government property. Yeah, I was government property. Those pants do not flaunt your pubic bone. That vest does not hug your waist. This is not a place to decorate yourself, and you thought you made all the right moves. But do not be fooled by your body armor. Do not think it will make you less desirable to these men. These men love it when you dress like this, when you smell like this, when you take a beautiful gift and wrap it in ugly paper like this. It is easy to hurt someone who looks just like you, especially when you hate yourself. As he was attempting to penetrate me, I heard my son knock at the door, and the way that he ran to the door, I thought he was gonna. But instead, he told my son that he was taking care of me for trouble sleeping. When he doesn't know how to speak softly, remember, he has been taught to bellow. When he uses his hand like the steel ram trying to get into the locked door, remember, he has been taught not to knock first. When he doesn't respond to the sound of your voice, remember, he has forgotten the sound of his wife's. How can you possibly blame an animal for its lack of table manners? The NCIS agents assured me, we've never had this much evidence. Yet, he was still found not guilty. And the reasoning I got, and I quote, "It's no question that his genitals touched my genitals. But there's reason to believe that he believed he had my consent." If you don't learn to control me, I'll continue to be the oasis of hate surrounding your ranks. I am the new age form of fratricide. I am the sum of division, and unless you stick together, you'll never be able to solve me. I am a combat minimizer, and until you learn to defeat me, you'll never be able to defeat your country's enemies. Now let me tell you why she didn't report it.